Do ice baths and cold showers actually enhance your personal performance, or are they just some kind of fad? Hey, Jay Williams here, and welcome to another Pocket Coaching. In this episode, I really want to begin by sharing my own personal journey of cold exposure. Now, cold exposure is nothing new. This has been around for a long, long time. Athletes have used this to actually help in things like muscle recovery, help to reduce inflammation. And I got into this space probably about 5 years ago, and it's really when I stumbled across this crazy guy named Wim Hof. Now, Wim Hof really exploded onto the scene when he started revealing studies and research that he'd found where they were talking about the links in improvement in anxiety and depression as a result of doing cold exposure. And this got a lot of people's attention, especially during COVID when people went through quite tough times. And it was probably just something extra to do and try while we were sat on our asses at home. Now, for me, one of the reasons I got into it is because I've always been someone who's willing to give anything a go. Anything that I believe could give me the edge, anything I believe that could just elevate my level of not just performance, but my level of happiness as well. I'm really willing to try that stuff out for sure. Some things really work and some things really don't. Now, one thing that I've always been about is not getting into a negotiation with my own mind. So let me explain. One of the things I used to do with a lot of my one-to-one clients who I'd have as in-person clients is I'd take them to this freezing cold lake in the middle of winter. There would often be either a hard frost or even sometimes snow on the ground. And we would go and do cold exposure in this freezing cold lake. It was called the Blue Lagoon. Sounds very tropical, but it wasn't. And we'd do 8 to 10 minutes of cold exposure. 10 minutes is normally the maximum recommended amount. And what would ultimately happen is when we would get to the Blue Lagoon, we'd obviously get down into our swim shorts and the mind starts to kick in. The mind starts to say, this is a terrible idea. What if you get hypothermia? The mind starts saying, oh, maybe we should not do this for some other random reason. And here's the thing. Whenever I do cold showers, the exact same thing happens. My mind goes, it's cold outside, which means the temperature will be cooler today. It's like, oh, but I love the warm. It's so comfy. It's like, oh, maybe you should, you don't want to do it too often because, you need to stimulate the body. And clients would often have this going on in their head. And I wanted to train them that when it's time to go, teach their mind and condition their mind that when it's time to go, we go. And that's exactly what we did. And this is the same concept that I use when it comes to cold showers. I don't want to get into a negotiation with my mind because as soon as I start negotiating with my mind, that's normally when I lose. So I want to focus on conditioning my mind to be a slave to me and me not a slave to my mind. So I started with ice baths, going and jumping in freezing cold lakes in the middle of winter. But then the thing that I found was that it wasn't massively convenient for me. I'm a big advocate for habit stacking. I know it's highly effective. I created 18 habits in 6 months just by habit stacking. And so I started to look at cold showers. And the way I normally do cold showers is I don't start off cold. I start off warm, have my warm shower, wash myself down, and then I finish on cold. Now, the main reason I do it that way is because actually I found that I was starting to smell. I was starting to smell of bow as a result of cold showers. Now, I shifted to doing warm to cold, and that seemed to resolve the issue. So what I do normally is I do a maximum of 2 to 3 minutes, and the studies have actually found that the optimal time is 2 to 3 minutes. And that's because normally at different stages, at 30 seconds, at 1 minute, different things start to happen in your body. And you need to give it that time for that stuff to start to happen. So 2 to 3 minutes is typically the optimum time. Now, the benefits of what I've experienced as a result of this is I normally experience a shock to the system, which normally links in I feel more awake. I have increased energy. I have increased focus. I seem to have improved mood when I do cold showers. It seems to help me with regulating emotions. And I do lots of other things as well, like breath work and meditations as well, which assist in that. But I've noticed that when I do this, it really helps me in this area. Now, some of the other things I do is I don't do it every single day. So people will talk about doing them every single day. I don't do them every single day. And the reason for that is because the human mind has a concept called habituation. It's essentially when we get exposed to the same things over and over and over again, it becomes normal. The mind and the body start to adapt. So the impact of that thing that you're doing will have a lesser effect. And I want to keep my mind and body constantly guessing. So I don't have a set schedule of the days I do it. I just mix it up. And it's all a little bit random. Sometimes I'll do 3 days on the bounce and 2-day gaps. Some days I'll do 2 days, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. I just mix it up all the time. It keeps it fresh. It keeps my mind guessing. So I still get that release of the neurotransmitters that I'll talk about in a second. Some other benefits people have reported: improved circulation. People have even reported losing weight as a result of taking cold showers, because there's something that's activated when you're exposed to the cold. It's called something known as BAT. So BAT is brown adipose tissue. So they call it brown adipose tissue activation. And basically, the cold exposure lowers your temperature, and the body's response to increase the temperature normally results in you burning more energy as a result. There's links to improved mental health. There's links to mental and emotional resilience, because it's very much like exposure therapy. You'll start to stimulate what's called the sympathetic nervous system, and those micro doses over a long period of time ultimately create resilience. It's a bit like going to the gym and working a muscle. The studies also showed that it can actually reduce inflammation in your body and improve the effectiveness of your immune system as well. So some really good benefits that come out of this. Now, when it comes to the science of this, there are different hormones and different neurotransmitters that play a part in this, but the area that I want to focus on is focus. And when it comes to focus and this process, there are a number of neurotransmitters that are used, but in this process, there is typically 3. Now, why do I focus on focus? The reason I focus on focus is because after working with thousands of people, typically I see that one of the biggest problems and the biggest challenges people face is focusing. And I see a massive difference between those that are highly successful and those that aren't. The big thing that I see is the people who are really successful can focus on one thing consistently until they get the result they want. Now, when it comes to focus and cold showers, there are normally 3 neurotransmitters at play. So the first one is dopamine. Dopamine is the reward hormone, but it's also responsible for motivation, the anticipation of the reward. The second one is what's called epinephrine. So epinephrine belongs to the adrenal family, and this is what gets your body in a state to get your body activated, basically activates your sympathetic nervous system. And then the last one that we have, which is a very interesting neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Now, what acetylcholine does is it actually it allows you to focus consistently on a specific object. So it just narrows your focus. And this is what allows you to stay focused on a specific item for a period of time. Now, studies report that you will see increased focus for up to an hour and a half after you've actually taken a cold shower. So if you want a really focused day, take like 5 cold showers a day. I'm only joking. What I found to be true is, yes, absolutely, you get that deep focus straight after the shower for up to an hour and a half, but I've also noticed increased focus throughout the day. And of course, this is really valuable for us as business owners, because we have a lot going on. There's endless things on to-do list, and we ultimately want to be productive. And a big part of that is our ability to stay focused on one thing consistently. So my kind of summary of cold showers and cold exposures, is it a fad or is it something that's actually really beneficial to performance? I'd say 100% yes. In my case, does not mean it's true for everybody, but it's definitely worth the try. So my question to you is it something you're already doing, or is it something you're willing to give a go to? Just drop me a message on social media, or respond to this if you're receiving it in an email. Now, if this is the first time you've come across the Pocket Coach and you absolutely love it, if you go to jwilliamscoaching.com/pocket, you can sign up so you can get access to all the old episodes and get updated about any new episodes that are being released throughout the week. Once again, big thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.